Today I want to talk to you about self-care strategies to overcome overwhelm. This is so important. I want you to stay tuned, share this with someone you love. It'll make all the difference in your life. My name's Renée Teller. I'm a life strategist, I'm a mentor, I'm a teacher. Some people call me their friend, and I hope you do too. But I want to talk to you today about self-care. I want to share with you a day I had just yesterday. It was crazy. I call it scheduled overwhelm. I actually knew, because of what I had going on, that it was going to be an overwhelming day. So the first thing I want you to do is stop. When you know that's going to happen, sit down, take time to figure out and brainstorm some ideas to combat that. If you have an overwhelming situation come up, and this is very prevalent at the holidays, right? When people have their family around, I call it scheduled overwhelm. You know it's on the schedule. The overwhelm is coming. So you can stop and you can do a lot of brainstorming around what to do to protect yourself, to combat that. And a big piece of that is premeditating. Premeditating what could go wrong and how you're going to react before it ever happens. We call this in the neuroscience world reframing. You have a certain way that you typically react, but you're gonna get it straightened out before it happens this time and indicate to your brain what you're gonna do different. So in this first tip of stopping and brainstorming, one thing you're gonna do is premeditate how you're gonna react to a situation that might come up. The second thing I do, if there's a particular time frame that scheduled overwhelm is going to happen, I build a fortress around the beginning and the end of that situation, of that appointment, of that conflict time. And I make sure before I go into the situation that I've taken time to be still, to pray, to think about the situation, to really get myself grounded. And then I save time after the situation for myself to calm down, to go for a walk, to take a hot bath, whatever I want to schedule. But build a fortress against the sabotage that you know is already scheduled and is going to happen in that conflict period. So that's the second thing you can do in this brainstorming session. And last but not least, I even carry that over to, say, the day after or long after, because when you're in an overwhelmed situation, even the ones you know about, you know it takes a lot out of you. So in my case, yesterday was my day of scheduled overwhelm, and today I scheduled a massage so that I could get my body taken care of and calm down so that I can go on living my life without that overwhelm carrying into and over to people that don't deserve it. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm not perfect, and there were some bumps in the road yesterday, and it did carry over because my fortress wasn't quite strong enough. I had a few things that I missed that I probably could have done. But guess what I did? I made conscious note of it so that the next time I go through this process, I'll remember exactly what happened, and I'll make my fortress a little stronger to protect myself. You need to take care of yourself. So again, the first tip is to stop and brainstorm yourself around what you can do to protect and build a fortress around that overwhelm. The second tip for self-care to combat overwhelm is to make sure you find a friend. Make sure you find somebody that loves you and that you love, that you're going to go to debrief or to pre-brief any kind of situation like that. A lot of times overwhelm happens unscheduled, right? So we want to be sure that we've developed relationships that we can let these overwhelmed feelings out of us. You've got to get them out, and if there's nobody around to do it, I suggest journaling. I suggest writing. I tend to turn into a mad writer when I get in that place where something's really upset me or bothered me, and I write it all out, and I write so fast and furious. And when you get done, you know, science has proven that there is science to getting something out of your head into your hand with a pen and onto a piece of paper. I'm sure you've heard that before. So I encourage you to find that outlet, find that friend, pick up that journal, and get the energy of the overwhelm out of your molecules. And last but not least, I tell you to take some time and rest. When you go through an overwhelming situation or an anxious situation, your body is actually physically gone through a difficult time. That's how some of these major diseases exist, because people live in that constant stretch state of being. I call it like the rubber band, right? You take a rubber band and you stretch it and you just keep it stretched for so long, it weakens, even if you haven't pulled it to the ends. So you need to rest. You need to find time to be still and rejuvenate your body. And a big piece of that is sleep, walking, downtime. I've done a lot of videos on rest and you should take a look at them. But one key thing is your sleep. And I'll share with you now, there's a wonderful app called sleepyti.me, sleepyti.me. And it's an app that allows you to calculate sleeping within your circadian rhythms, which gives you a lot more healing power and a lot more powerful rest. Take a look at that. It's a great new thing for me that I found, even though I try to sleep in my circadian rhythms. It's hard to calculate myself. This little app is really awesome. So go ahead and check out that app, but make sure you get lots of sleep, lots of rest during this time. So the best self-care tips to overcome overwhelm are to build a fortress around the situation, either before or after, especially if it's scheduled. The second thing is make sure you get a hold of a friend or that journal and get those emotions out of your body. And thirdly, get lots of rest, lots of sleep. I suggest at least 7.5 hours a night. I hope this helped. Don't ever hesitate to PM me, DM me. You can find me on all social media at Renée Teller or on the website at reneeteller.com.